Hi guys, Klein here. So with World of Warships new update, the carrier gameplay has been overhauled a lot, and you basically have to rework all your strategies when you're talking about carriers. So here I am to share with you how I've been playing it so far, and it's been going quite well. Okay, so one thing you'll notice is that instead of controlling all the different squadrons, right now you only control one squadron at a time, and you only have 3 different types of squadrons. Consists of a plane that fires rockets. It's a new addition to the World of Warships planes. And one of the main characteristics is that it's actually faster, uh, but at the same time its boost also lasts a lot shorter, so you've got to be careful when using it. How these planes work is that normally there will be a grey colour reticle, and when you want to attack at time, you mouse click and become a green reticle, and after that you mouse click again, it will fire off the rockets. So the main use for this kind of plane is to actually attack destroyers. As you can see, the time to attack from when you actually click to the time that it releases the munitions and hits the target is quite low. So that's why it's actually useful for shooting fast moving targets. Something that you have to control is the torpedo bombers. So you can see from torpedo bombers, they actually have this triangle in the front, and that will be roughly where your attack zone will be. As you can see from here, when you click attack, there will be this cone. Left and right, whether it's to make corrections or to avoid enemy fire, the cone will still stay extremely wide. In order to narrow it, you have to continuously go straight, and that's what you will want to have a very tight shot. But I'll explain later why a wider shot is not necessarily a bad thing. For a successful torpedo run, you actually want to plan your route in advance. So as you can see, there's a battleship to my 12 o'clock. He's heading to my right, so I'll just estimate there a bit, plan, and you want to start your attack run early on to be able to have enough time to do minor corrections at the end. As you can see, expecting him to obviously hit that direction, and you'll start to narrow. As you make small adjustments with your mouse, it will widen by a small bit, but after that it will actually recover. So if you do it with the mouse, it should be fine. So as you can see, even if your cone is wide, you just need to make sure that one of the torpedoes hits. So in this case, I was trying to hunt a destroyer. As you will see, I kind of prepped it a bit late because I was still looking for him. And by the time I wanted to fire on him, the cone was still very wide. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because the wideness of the cone actually creates a bit of unpredictability. If the enemy knows that your cone will always be narrow or always get to a certain narrowness, then they will know how to avoid it. Whereas in this case, if you make final adjustments and you suddenly increase the cone, right, they will not necessarily be expecting it in this case. So I'm back on the scene trying to sink this guy. These destroyers are actually pretty fast, so having a very narrow cone does not help you. So actually if you have a wider cone, you can possibly cover more ground. You see in this case, he avoids the first one, but the second one is just nice within his speed. So don't just assume that a widening cone is a bad thing. Use it to your advantage when you can. This will create the unpredictability that will allow you to be able to hit your targets, even if it's just one torpedo. One is better than none. So of course, when it comes to using torpedo bombers, like I mentioned earlier, you have to line up your targets well, and you want to hit them as close as possible. This means that if they're moving towards you, you will hit them just slightly further in the green zone, and if they're moving away from you, right, you can actually afford to hit them when they are slightly into the yellow zone. So obviously the yellow zone is an area where the torpedoes have not armed, and if they hit the target while still inside there, the torpedoes would not do any damage at all. So in this case, managed to hit this guy quite a few times. And now on to the very last squadron, which is your dive bomb squadrons. So the main use that I found for these guys was to actually hit the battleships, and not only that, you can hit them pretty hard. When using these guys, you want to attack them from either their bow or their stern. And normally you will see a white reticle, and when you think the enemy is going to be in the zone, you click your mouse and you will start to do the dive animation. When it turns green, then that's when you can attack. Ideally, you want to attack them when they are dead in the center. That is your highest chance of hitting. And so far, these guys can actually deal quite a lot of damage when they hit the citadel. But then again, sometimes you can also, as with normal armor piercing rounds, you can end up over piercing, or in my case, miss completely. So at the end of the day, it's up to your RNG luck for this. When it comes to the dive bombers and you're trying to estimate the enemy's position, it's not always the easiest thing to do since they're moving around. And sometimes you realize that the target that you pick is actually a bit too near. So in this case, there's no need to worry, because after the dive bombers make the dive, they will actually pull up a bit. And when they do that, it actually gives you a bit of time more than the actual dive bomb to complete the bombing run. So another thing is you probably shouldn't be too ambitious like this. If not, you might end up losing all your fighters. Now, what you should not do. If you see enemy fighters in the area, do not continue the attack. Do not persist. By right, the best thing to do is after you make your attack run, if you're stuck in the attack, continue your planes and move them further away before you withdraw them back to the carrier. Another thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to attack the enemy carrier. The moment you try and attack the carrier, sure, you might be able to launch off one volley of attack into the carrier, deal maybe 5k damage, but you're going to lose every single plane in that squadron, especially if they are not evacuated. As you can see, watch them fall like yeah, there really isn't any point to attack an enemy carrier. You're going to lose your whole squadron, you're going to take time to refill and rearm them. It's much better to focus on the enemy ships. Non-carrier, that is. One more thing that you don't want to do is to use your fighter consumable on your squadrons to go and try to shoot down an enemy squadron. It's not going to work. Put it simply, they're not going to chase down the squadron. So if you look at in this case, this enemy, he tried to take down my squadron by deploying his fighters. All I had to do was to fly a bit further away, and they can't do anything. Now then you might be asking, what would you want to use that fighter squadron for? There are two things that you want to use it for. The first thing that you can use it for is to protect your carrier against enemy squadrons that try to attack you. So all you have to do is just deploy your enemy squadron, fly towards the enemy squadron, and deploy the fighter consumable. This means that your carrier will have two fighter squadrons covering it along with its anti-air. And this is why you do not attack an enemy aircraft carrier with your planes. The purpose of the fighter consumable is to protect your allies. So this is for ships that especially do not have their own fighters and they need some cover. What you do is you just fly either over them or in between them, and you just deploy your fighter consumable, and you should be able to cover your ally a bit. But overall, I enjoyed the new carriers. It's so much more interactive, and it's not like you're sitting at the top and you feel previously you feel like you're playing a different game to everybody else because you're not experiencing the same thing. Here you're down there, torpedo running them directly, bombing them directly. It feels much more interactive. And so far, these are the strategies that I've used to help me to be able to get an edge over the enemies, and I hope they will be able to help you too. So if you liked it, click the like button and subscribe, and see you next time. Of course, if you have any other strategies that you might know of, do let me know in the comments. See you soon.